Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the world of Washington quarter dollar coins, some of the most collected and surprisingly valuable coins in American history. You might have one of these quarters sitting in your pocket or coin jar right now, and it could be worth way more than face value. So make sure you watch this video till the very end, because I'll be revealing the key details, hidden mint marks, and rare years that make certain Washington quarters extremely valuable to collectors and coin enthusiasts. These coins might look ordinary, but some of them are worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their mint year, condition, and errors you might not even notice at first glance. So don't click away. You could discover that you're holding a real treasure. And before we start, make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on all notifications so you never miss any of my videos about rare and valuable coins. Let's jump right into the story and the value of these amazing Washington quarter dollar coins. Let's get started. First up, the 1977 Washington quarter dollar coin with the D mint mark is one of the most interesting coins produced by the United States Mint during the late 1970s. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary quarter that has been in circulation for decades. But some of these coins are actually valuable and collectible, especially if they were well preserved or contain minting errors. In this video, we'll explore everything you need to know about the 1977 D Washington quarter, including its history, metal composition, design details, and what makes certain examples worth much more than their face value. So make sure you watch until the end, because you might discover that you have a truly valuable coin hiding in your pocket or coin jar. The Washington Quarter series began in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Sculptor John Flanagan design became one of the most iconic in U.S. coin history. On the obverse, you'll find a bold portrait of George Washington facing left, with the word Liberty above his head and the phrase, "In God We Trust," just beside his chin. On the reverse, the coin features a majestic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it, symbolizing the balance between strength and peace. This design remained a hallmark of American coinage for decades, and the 1977 D Washington quarter proudly carries this traditional look. By 1977, the composition of U.S. quarters had already changed from 90% silver to a copper-nickel-clad structure. This change took place after 1964, when the rising price of silver made it too expensive to continue minting circulating coins from precious metal. The 1977 D Washington quarter is therefore made of a copper core with a nickel outer layer. It weighs around 5.67 grams and has a diameter of about 24.3 millimeters. The mint mark D, located to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse, indicates that this coin was produced at the Denver Mint. In 1977, the Denver Mint struck more than 256 million of these coins. Because of that large mintage, the majority of 1977 D quarters are common and can still be found in circulation today. However, certain coins from this mintage can be worth far more than 25 cents, depending on their condition, strike quality, and unique characteristics. Even among millions of coins, small differences can make a big impact on value. The first factor that affects a 1977 D quarter's value is its condition. Coins that have been heavily used and show scratches, dullness, or wear are typically only worth face value. However, examples that have remained bright, sharp, and well detailed since they were minted are much more desirable. A coin that still shows strong luster, crisp lettering, and full details on Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers is considered a high-quality example and can be worth several dollars or even more depending on collector interest. Another factor that makes some 1977 D quarters valuable is the presence of minting errors or varieties. These are coins that were struck incorrectly at the mint, and collectors love finding them because they're rare and unique. Some error types that can appear on 1977 D quarters include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or misaligned, clip planchets, where a small portion of the coin is missing from the edge, or die cracks, where raised lines appear across the surface from a worn-out die. There are also double die varieties, where parts of the design appear doubled, for example, on the lettering or the date. Each type of error can raise the coin's value significantly, depending on how noticeable and rare it is. There are even instances where the 1977 D Washington quarter was accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank, known as a wrong planchet error. These coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, since they are extremely rare and often discovered by accident. Imagine finding a 1977 D quarter that weighs less or more than usual. That's a clue you might have a special coin. When you look at a 1977 D quarter, pay close attention to the details. Examine Washington's hair for clarity and sharpness, the eagle's feathers on the reverse, and the overall shine or luster of the coin. Coins that have been kept safely in drawers, coin jars, or old rolls for decades often retain more of their original brilliance and fine detail. Even without professional evaluation, collectors can often tell when a coin has above-average condition simply by looking at how well-defined its design is. Eye appeal also plays a huge role in determining how much collectors are willing to pay. A coin with bright luster, attractive natural toning, and no visible damage will always be more desirable than one that is dull or worn. Some 1977 D quarters naturally develop beautiful rainbow-like toning due to chemical reactions between the metal and air over many years, and this type of coloration can make the coin even more appealing to collectors. Historically, the 1970s represented an important period for U.S. coins, as the country fully transitioned to non-silver coinage. While these coins may not contain precious metal, their connection to American history and their classic design continue to make them sought-after collectibles. The 1977 D Washington quarter is part of that legacy, a coin that symbolizes both tradition and change in U.S. currency. For collectors who enjoy building sets of Washington quarters, the 1977 D coin is an essential part of the Denver Mint series. Having one in top condition or with an interesting error adds depth and uniqueness to any collection. Even though millions were made, not many have survived in perfect shape, and that's what makes certain examples so valuable today. It's also important to remember that cleaning or polishing a coin, like the 1977 D Washington quarter, actually lowers its value. Collectors prefer coins that have their original mint surfaces untouched, even if they have minor imperfections. The natural luster and patina of a coin tell its story and reflect its true originality. While most 1977 D quarters in circulation will be worth only their face value, finding one in exceptionally preserved condition or with a rare error can be a thrilling discovery. In some cases, people have found coins in old change jars or rolls that turned out to be worth far more than expected. These finds serve as a reminder that valuable coins are still out there, sometimes hiding in plain sight. The 1977 D Washington quarter is a perfect example of why you should always check your change carefully. Each coin tells a story, and this one tells the story of a country continuing its legacy of coinage innovation while honoring one of its most iconic presidents. The next time you come across a 1977 D quarter, take a closer look. Notice the mint mark, the fine details of the design, and the overall condition. You might just have a rare and valuable piece of American history in your hands. Even without silver content, the 1977 D Washington quarter remains a collectible coin that can hold surprising value. Whether it's due to its beautiful design, historical importance, or unexpected minting errors, it's a coin that every collector should pay attention to. Some of these quarters have sold for impressive amounts purely because of their condition and uniqueness. So always remember, your everyday pocket change might contain more than just small currency. It could hold real hidden treasures. The 1977 D Washington quarter dollar coin is one of those coins worth keeping an eye out for, and it continues to attract attention for its blend of history, artistry, and collector appeal. You never know. Your next handful of quarters could include one of the most valuable modern coins from the 1970s. Next up, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar coin with the D mint mark is one of the most fascinating modern U.S. coins that many people overlook, yet it holds incredible potential value for collectors and coin enthusiasts. At first glance, this quarter may seem like just another coin in your pocket change, but certain examples of the 1981 D Washington quarter can actually be worth far more than face value, depending on their condition, minting quality, and unique characteristics. Stay tuned through the entire video, because you might be surprised to learn how valuable this coin can be and what to look for if you happen to find one. The Washington Quarter has been one of the most popular and longest-running series in United States coinage. Originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, it has remained a staple in American circulation for decades. The design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, has become instantly recognizable, featuring a dignified portrait of George Washington on the obverse and a bold image of an eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. This design remained a face of the U.S. quarter for more than 65 years, symbolizing America's strength, heritage, and unity. By 1981, the United States Mint was producing Washington quarters at 3 facilities: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The D Mint mark found on this coin indicates it was minted at the Denver Mint. The 1981 D Washington quarter is made from a copper-nickel clad composition, featuring an inner core of pure copper and outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. The edge of the coin is reeded, a classic feature that gives it a distinctive tactile feel and helps prevent counterfeiting. The total mintage of the 1981 D Washington quarter was extremely large. Over 575 million coins were produced. Because of that, most of these coins were used heavily in circulation, which means finding one in pristine, untouched condition today is quite rare. Most circulated examples are only worth their face value of 25 cents. However, if you find a 1981 D quarter that has been preserved in exceptional condition or exhibits unique minting errors, its value can be much higher. The condition of the coin is one of the biggest factors affecting its value. Coins that have been handled and show signs of wear, such as scratches, loss of shine, or worn-down details, are worth less. But coins that remain bright, sharply struck, and have full detail in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers are much more desirable. A well-preserved 1981 D Washington quarter with a sharp strike and strong luster can fetch a premium from collectors who value its beauty and state of preservation. Even though 1981 D quarters were made of non-silver clad metal, collectors still seek them for their rarity and high-quality condition and for interesting minting errors that occasionally occurred during production. These mint errors make certain 1981 D quarters extremely collectible and valuable. For example, coins struck off-center, where part of the design is missing, or those showing a double die error, where the details appear slightly doubled, can command significant prices. Other sought-after errors include clip planchets, die cracks, or missing reading on the edge. Each of these varieties adds rarity and uniqueness, making them much more valuable than standard issues. There are also rare cases where a 1981 D Washington quarter was accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal blank. These are known as wrong planchet errors, and they can make the coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on what metal was used. For example, if a quarter was accidentally struck on a dime or foreign coin planchet, it would have an unusual weight and appearance, a sign of a minting anomaly that collectors prize. When inspecting a 1981 D quarter, take a close look at Washington's profile on the obverse. The finest examples will have crisp hair details, clear lettering, and a smooth, reflective surface. On the reverse, check the eagle's wings and tail feathers. The sharper and more distinct they are, the better. Also, pay attention to the mint mark D near the ponytail. If it appears strong and well struck, that can indicate a higher quality strike. One of the most overlooked aspects of coin collecting is eye appeal. How attractive the coin looks overall. Even among coins of the same condition, one with beautiful natural toning or strong luster will often be worth more than one that looks dull or spotted. Some 1981 D quarters develop appealing shades of gold, blue, or rainbow-like toning over time due to the interaction of the metal with the environment. This natural toning can significantly enhance the coin's desirability. While the majority of 1981 D quarters you find in circulation won't be worth more than 25 cents, it's important to remember that exceptional examples and error coins can carry much higher values. Some of the finest, most visually appealing coins from this year have sold for impressive sums among collectors. The combination of condition, rarity, and demand can turn an ordinary pocket change find into a hidden treasure. The history of the 1981 D. Washington quarter also reflects the period's broader economic and cultural background. The early 1980s was a time of change in U.S. coinage. Inflation was high, and silver coins had long disappeared from circulation. The quarter remained a cornerstone of everyday commerce, but it also became a symbol of stability and tradition. This coin connects us directly to that moment in American history, an era when the country was modernizing, yet still holding onto the familiar designs that had defined its currency for half a century. If you collect coins, the 1981 D quarter is an important part of any complete Washington quarter set. While it might seem common, finding one in perfect, untouched condition is not easy, and examples with unique characteristics or errors can significantly increase the value of your collection. Every coin tells a story, and the 1981 D quarter story is one of craftsmanship, history, and hidden value. When checking your change or going through old rolls of quarters, keep an eye out for 1981 coins with the D mint mark. Look for unusual details, sharp features, and bright luster. These clues can help you spot a coin that's worth saving. You might be holding a piece of American history that's more valuable than you think. Collectors love the thrill of finding these coins because they represent the excitement of discovery. That sense that something ordinary can turn out to be extraordinary. And that's exactly what the 1981 D. Washington quarter dollar coin is all about. It's a symbol of everyday value, hiding something special beneath the surface. So the next time you get a handful of change, take a moment to check those quarters. You might find that one of them, that 1981 D. Washington quarter, isn't just worth 25 cents. It could be a rare and valuable treasure, a small piece of American history, and a shining example of why coin collecting continues to fascinate people around the world. Next up, the 1966 Washington quarter dollar coin with no mint mark is one of the most interesting and often misunderstood coins from the United States Mint. Many people think that because it looks like a regular quarter, it's not special, but the truth is, some 1966 quarters can be quite valuable depending on their condition, strike, and rare minting characteristics. So make sure to stay with me through this entire video, because you might discover that a simple quarter from 1966 could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin features the proud and noble profile of America's first president on the obverse, with the word liberty above his head and the phrase, "In God we trust," beside his chin. The reverse showcases the majestic bald eagle, wings spread wide, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, symbolizing America's balance between strength and peace. This design remained on U.S. quarters for decades and became one of the most recognizable and enduring images in American coinage. By 1966, the U.S. Mint was going through a major transformation. Just a year earlier, in 1965, the government decided to remove silver from circulating dimes and quarters due to the rising cost of silver. Before that change, Washington quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But beginning in 1965, the composition changed to a copper-nickel-clad coin, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. This made the coin more durable and much cheaper to produce. The 1966 Washington quarter has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a weight of 5.67 grams, and a reeded edge. Unlike earlier coins, there is no mint mark on the 1966 quarter, not because it was made in Philadelphia, but because the mint temporarily removed mint marks from all coins between 1965 and 1967. This was done to discourage coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. So, every 1966 quarter, regardless of where it was actually struck, appears without a mint mark. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin valuable. While millions of 1966 quarters were produced, more than 821 million in total, not all of them are equal. Most circulated examples are worth only face value, But high-quality coins, especially those that remain in excellent condition, can be worth many times their original 25-cent denomination. Collectors look for coins that have a sharp strike, bright luster, and no visible wear. These coins stand out from the rest and can bring impressive premiums. The first factor that determines the value of a 1966 Washington quarter with no mint mark is condition. Coins that have been in circulation for decades will show wear on George Washington's hair, cheeks, and the eagle's feathers. These are usually worth their face value. But a coin that has been carefully preserved and still shows full detail, strong luster, and a clean surface can be worth much more. Coins that look almost brand new, with crisp edges, shiny surfaces, and no scratches, are considered high-quality examples, and collectors will pay a premium for them. But condition isn't the only thing that can make a 1966 quarter valuable. Another major factor is the presence of minting errors. The 1966 Washington quarter is known for having a number of interesting and rare errors that can dramatically increase its value. Some of these include double die errors, where the details of the design appear doubled, especially on the date or lettering. There are also off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting. Some coins show die cracks, which appear as raised lines or small bumps across the surface, caused by a damaged die. These flaws may seem like imperfections, but in the world of coin collecting, they make a coin unique, and therefore more desirable. Another rare type of mint error that can occur is a wrong planchet strike. This happens when a quarter is accidentally struck on a metal blank intended for another coin, such as a dime or a foreign denomination. These coins have different weights and sizes, so if you ever find a 1966 quarter that looks slightly off in color, thickness, or weight, it could be one of these rare minting mistakes, and potentially worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. When examining a 1966 Washington quarter with no mint mark, take a close look at the surfaces. On the obverse, check for the fine details in Washington's hair and the clarity of the lettering. On the reverse, pay attention to the eagle's wings and tail feathers. If they are sharp and detailed, that's a sign of a strong strike. Also, look for areas that appear doubled, misaligned, or show small raised lines. These could indicate valuable errors. Eye appeal is another important aspect that can influence the value of your coin. A coin with beautiful natural toning, soft golden hues, bluish tones, or rainbow-like coloration can attract collector interest. Natural toning occurs over decades as the metal reacts with air and moisture, and coins with attractive colors often sell for more. On the other hand, avoid cleaning or polishing your coin. Cleaning removes the natural surface and can significantly reduce its value. Collectors prefer coins in their original, unaltered condition. The year 1966 was a transitional and experimental time in U.S. coinage. The mint was still refining the new clad metal process, which means some coins were struck with varying pressure or on slightly imperfect planchets. Because of this, small differences in strike quality or color can exist, making certain coins stand out from the rest. Even though 1966 quarters are technically common, finding one in exceptional condition or with a rare minting anomaly is not easy. Most were used heavily in everyday transactions, so pristine examples have become harder to find over the decades. This scarcity of high-quality coins helps drive up their value in the coin collecting market. Another point worth noting is that since there were no mint marks used in 1966, identifying exactly where a coin was struck is difficult, which adds a layer of mystery for collectors. It's part of what makes the 1966 Washington quarter such a fascinating piece of U.S. coin history. So how valuable can a 1966 Washington quarter with no mint mark really be? While regular worn examples are worth their face value, coins in excellent uncirculated condition can bring several dollars or more, especially if they show strong luster and no signs of handling. Error coins can range from tens to hundreds of dollars, depending on how rare and visible the mistake is. In some special cases, coins struck on the wrong planchet or with dramatic off-center errors can reach even higher values when sold to collectors. The best part is, these coins are still out there. People find them in old jars, boxes, and even pocket change. The idea that a coin minted nearly 60 years ago could still be circulating and possibly worth much more than 25 cents, makes the 1966 quarter a true hidden treasure. So the next time you're checking your spare change, keep an eye out for the 1966 Washington quarter with no mint mark. Look closely for sharp details, unique color, and any signs of error. You might be holding a valuable piece of American history right in your hand. The 1966 Washington quarter is more than just a coin. It represents a pivotal moment in U.S. mint history, a time when the nation moved away from silver coinage, but continued to honor its iconic symbols. Even without silver, it carries historical significance, collector interest, and hidden value. Always remember, every coin has a story, and the 1966 Washington quarter tells one of change, resilience, and discovery. You never know when you might find a valuable treasure hiding in plain sight. So keep searching, keep collecting, and pay close attention to those quarters, because the 1966 Washington quarter dollar coin with no mint mark might just be one of the most valuable modern coins you'll ever come across. Next up, the 1995 Washington quarter dollar coin with the P mint mark is one of those modern U.S. coins that many people overlook, yet it holds surprising interest and potential value among collectors. While it might look like a typical quarter you could find in your spare change, the truth is that certain examples of the 1995 P Washington quarter can be worth much more than face value, especially if they have unique characteristics, sharp detail, or rare minting errors. So stay with me through this entire video, because by the end, you'll know exactly what makes this coin valuable, and why you should never ignore a 1995 quarter with the P mint mark. The Washington quarter has long been a symbol of American history and pride. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, it quickly became one of the most beloved designs in U.S. coinage. Sculptor John Flanagan created the original artwork, which features a bold and distinguished portrait of George Washington on the obverse side with the word Liberty above and the motto, "In God We Trust," prominently displayed to the left. On the reverse, we see the powerful image of a bald eagle, wings spread proudly, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below, representing both America's strength and its commitment to peace. By 1995, the United States Mint was still producing the traditional Washington quarter design that had been in circulation for over 6 decades. The 1995 P quarter was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the small P mint mark located just to the right of Washington's ponytail. This mint mark tells you exactly where your coin was made, and it's an important detail collectors look for. The 1995 P Washington quarter is made of a copper-nickel-clad composition, featuring an inner layer of pure copper and outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel. It weighs about 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. It has a reeded edge, giving it that classic ridged texture familiar to all quarters. Now, let's talk about what makes the 1995 P Washington quarter valuable. The first and most important factor is condition. Like all coins, the state of preservation plays a huge role in determining value. Most 1995 P quarters have been heavily circulated, meaning they show signs of wear, dull surfaces, scratches, and loss of detail. Those examples are typically worth only their face value of 25 cents. However, a coin that has been carefully preserved and shows full detail, strong luster, and no noticeable wear can be worth much more. Collectors call these high-quality examples mint state condition, and even though we won't discuss grading here, it's important to understand that sharp, clean, uncirculated coins always bring higher value. The next factor that can make the 1995 P quarter valuable is minting errors. Errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting because they create unique, one-of-a-kind pieces. There are several types of minting errors that have been found on 1995 P Washington quarters, and some of them can be quite valuable. One example is the double die error, where parts of the coin's design appear slightly doubled. This can happen on the date, the lettering, or even parts of Washington's face. The doubling effect occurs when the die strikes the planchet improperly or is misaligned during the minting process. Collectors love these coins because the doubling is visible without magnification and adds uniqueness to the coin. Another valuable error to look for is the off-center strike, where the design is not properly aligned with the planchet. In some cases, part of the design is missing entirely, creating an unusual look that makes the coin rare. The more off-center the strike, while still showing the date and mint mark, the higher its potential value. Other known errors on the 1995 P. Washington quarter include clipped planchets, where part of the metal blank was cut off before striking, and die cracks, where raised lines or small bumps appear across the coin's surface due to a worn-out die. There are even cases of missing letters or partial designs, which add to the coin's collectability. A particularly rare and valuable variety occurs when a 1995 P. Washington quarter was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin. These wrong planchet errors are incredibly rare and can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on the metal composition and how noticeable the difference is. When examining your 1995 P. Washington quarter, pay close attention to details. On the obverse, check the sharpness of Washington's hair, the clarity of his eye and jawline, and the crispness of the lettering. On the reverse, look for well-defined feathers on the eagle's wings and clear, readable text. A coin with full detail, clean fields, and strong luster is always more appealing to collectors. Another factor that adds value is eye appeal, how attractive the coin looks overall. Even two coins in the same condition can have different values if one has a more appealing appearance. Coins with bright luster, reflective surfaces, or attractive natural toning can sell for more than dull or spotted examples. Natural toning occurs when a coin's metal reacts with the environment over time, creating beautiful shades of gold, blue, or rainbow-like colors that collectors love. The history of the 1995 P quarter also adds to its collectability. The mid-1990s were the final years before the U.S. Mint introduced the state quarters program in 1999, which completely changed the design of quarters and sparked a massive new interest in coin collecting. That means the 1995 P. Washington quarter represents the last era of the classic eagle reverse design, a symbol of traditional American coinage that collectors appreciate for its historical significance. Even though the 1995 P. Washington quarter was produced in large numbers, over 1.1 billion coins were minted, only a small fraction remain in pristine condition today. Most have been used in circulation for nearly 30 years, accumulating wear and damage. That's why finding one in outstanding shape or with a minting error is special and can be quite valuable. It's also important to note that cleaning a coin can actually reduce its value. Many people make the mistake of polishing their coins to make them shine, but this damages the natural surface and can permanently lower their worth. Collectors prefer coins that have never been cleaned, even if they have minor discoloration or small marks. The original luster and texture of a coin tell its true story. So how much can a 1995 P. Washington quarter with the P mint mark be worth? Common, circulated examples are worth face value, 25 cents, but high quality, uncirculated examples can bring a few dollars depending on the coin's condition and overall eye appeal. However, error coins and rare varieties can sell for much more. A strong double die example or off-center strike could easily be worth hundreds of dollars to the right collector, and wrong planchet errors could be worth even more. The exciting thing is that these coins are still out there in circulation. Many people find valuable 1995 P quarters in pocket change, old coin jars, or rolls of coins from the bank. You might already have one in your possession and not even realize it. That's why it's always worth taking a closer look at every quarter you come across. You never know what you might find. The 1995 P. Washington quarter dollar coin is a perfect example of how modern coins can still be valuable. Even without silver, these coins represent a piece of American history and carry collectible worth. Their value lies not only in their age, but also in their condition, rarity, and the fascinating minting errors that make each one unique. So the next time you're sorting through your change, don't overlook that 1995 quarter with the small P mint mark. Look closely at the details, the surfaces, and the overall appearance. That ordinary-looking coin might actually be a rare and valuable treasure. The 1995 P. Washington quarter continues to remind collectors and treasure hunters alike that valuable coins are still out there waiting to be discovered, sometimes right in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed learning about these valuable Washington quarter dollar coins, make sure you don't miss my previous video on wheat pennies. Those classic Lincoln wheat cents are some of the most interesting and surprisingly valuable coins ever made, and you could have one sitting in your change right now. Every coin has a story, and here on this channel, we explore the true value, history, and hidden treasures behind every U.S. coin, from Washington quarters to wheat pennies and beyond. So before you go, hit that subscribe button and turn on all notifications so you never miss any of my future videos about rare and valuable coins. Thanks for watching till the end. And remember, always check your change carefully, because even an ordinary-looking coin could turn out to be worth much more than you ever imagined. Now go watch my previous video on wheat pennies, and I'll see you there.